Unacademy. Let's crack it.
Hello, Utkarsh. Very warm welcome on the platform of Unacademy. So
Thank
let's
you.
start. You are All India rank 5, and we all know that it is one of the toughest exam. So first, let me know how you are feeling all about.
Uh, Sir, I'm definitely on cloud nine, but I think that feeling has still not sunk in, sir. It is taking time.
Very nice. So, Utkarsh, let us know about your journey. When and how you started this, why you think of for civil services.
Sir, I'll answer the second part first. Why civil services? Because, sir, right at a young age, sir, my maternal grandparents were in government services in UP, and at that time they told me something about the IAS. And sir, gradually when I got to know, this service, I know this gives a huge platform to you to help transform so many lives at such a young age. And that such a it has a large public interface, and you get a chance to touch so many lives. So I decided that I think this will be a great career to have for me and for anyone else. So this was there in my mind. And so when I was in my college, I was pursuing my BTech in mechanical engineering at VIT Vellore. So in my fourth year, I started reading the newspapers and referred the basic NCRTs, and looking through the syllabus of the subjects and how to prepare for this examination, watching topper videos. So I had oriented my mind towards this examination, and I even did not sit for the campus placements during my fourth year. So in 2018, right after I graduated, I came to Delhi and I started preparing for this exam. And I took coaching for my optional and for my GS. And in 2019, I gave my first attempt. So I was fortunate enough to reach till the interview stage, but I failed to qualify by 23 marks. And then in my second attempt, I again reached till the interview stage, but I failed by 11 marks. And so this time I was fortunate enough to secure an answer.
So, Utkarsh, your struggle, your dedication finally bring this much of result. So, it's a long journey. It started by 2018, it's 2022. So, there will be a lot of ups and downs. So, let us know about what were the downs specifically, because it is going to benefit a lot of learners.
Sir, if there are few downs, so firstly, I would say that this exam is mentally taxing because staying away from your family and staying in a room in Delhi, in a 10 foot by 10 foot room, and at an age where all your friends are, they are enjoying, they're having fun, they are, visiting places, and here you are with Lakshmikant and with Spectrum. So this somewhat becomes very tough, and that is one aspect of it. Sometimes it did happen that I used to feel somewhat secluded or isolated. So, and secondly, what I would say is that uh, when in my second attempt I couldn't qualify, reaching the interview stage, that was one of the down moments, because in my first attempt I did not expect that I could reach the interview stage, but by God's grace I did reach the stage. But in my second attempt I thought I did everything right, and even then I couldn't qualify. And in this time, sir, I couldn't study too much because what happened was in October my nanny died and she was with me in Indore. So because of that, I came to Delhi 15th of November. I took some time to settle, and I got the month of December to study actually properly. So this time the preparation was not to get not enough to get a rank 5. But I think in this examination, the cumulative efforts count. So for people who are in their third or in their fourth or fifth attempt, what I would say is that your cumulative efforts are being counted, and everyone has their down moments. In fact, I remember 10 days back, around 18th, 19th of May, I got very nervous regarding the results, and I called up my mother and I started crying. I said, twice it has happened that I have reached the interview stage and I couldn't qualify. When you live in ORN, you hear a lot of stories. And the most of the stories are somewhat depressing because the selection rate of this examination is less than 1%. So the 99% of the stories are stories of failure. Well, I will not call them failure, but the so-called failure. This is what the society calls it. So I was very much depressed that it should not happen that I may become someone who has appeared for interview 5 times or 6 times, and I come out of this cycle, as an unsuccessful candidate. So those were some of the down moments, and but I think with God's grace and people's blessings.
Because if I would say you identify 3 of your strengths which help you to overcome during this down moments, then what would we like to count?
Firstly, I would say patience.
Patience.
Because sir, I think people say that big things in time take life. Big things in life take time. I'm so sorry, but when you are actually waiting, it is when your patience is tested. Patience is not about waiting. It is about how you react to that waiting. So 4 years is a long journey. It is equivalent to another BTech. So I would say patience was one of the things that helped me. Secondly, sir, I would say I did not take too much pressure during examination. Because whether it was prelims or mains or interview, there was one thing in my mind that the mind works when it is least stressed. And as it is, UPSC as an examination is more about unconventional and unexpected questions. And if you are so stressed, if your mind is so pressurized, how will you think through that questions in those hours? So this was something that I would say I would even count as a strength.
You manage your stress and stress level and pressure of exam.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Particularly in those hours when you're writing the paper. And so, thirdly, I would say that I received the support of a lot of people during this journey, and they were the pillars of my strength. My friends, my family, people who have helped me to reach here, sir.
That's really nice, Utkarsh. So, if I would say what is more important, it is a skill during your preparation, or it is your knowledge. So, how you connect both?
So obviously both are important at their own places. But sir, if I were to point out one, I would go for skill. Because sir, as far as I understand this is not an examination of your knowledge. This is the examination of your skill as an administrator, how you administer. Because you will have a lot of people to advise you who will be more knowledgeable than you. But it is your skill to take a decision and govern a district. So your skill to handle stress, your skill to manage your time is more important. Your skill to understand the demand of this examination is more important.
We can say this examination is all about studying, managing your time, managing a psychological balance, and continue to work hard, consistently maintaining your pace of journey, I guess. So Utkarsh, if I would say that, can you identify some myths of UPSC preparation?
Sir, first myth is that you need to read a lot of books. Sir, it is a total myth. Because...
just interrupting you. You mean there's no need to read book?
So you need to read only 3 or 4 books.
Okay. You need to go for reading minimum books.
Minimum books. And so there are some Lakshmikant or Spectrum or the NCRTs or say what Shankar IAS book, Environment. That is it, sir. That is it.
What is the second myth?
And so the second myth is that you need to study a lot. So I would say that you need to put in those hours, but those hours should be around 8 to 10 main working hours, but consistently. You don't need to study 15 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours. You don't need to slot.
So consistent and effective and focused study, I guess you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
And third important thing is?
And so third, I would say is that it is a myth that UPSC is not for average people. Because, sir, if I were to say, I have failed, I failed twice in my IIT JEE. I tried twice, I couldn't qualify. In my college, I got 2 backs. In UPSC, I tried twice, I could not qualify. So I've had my own share of failures, and I do not possess any academic excellence or as that kind of track record. So even in my DAF, my sports section and my there are 2 sections, they were completely blank. So I would say, sir, UPSC is something, even average people, hardworking people can qualify. The caveat is that some amount of luck is needed in this exam.
Okay. So do you allot some space to luck also?
Sir, I would allot it, sir. I would.
That's really good, Utkarsh. We come to know that your optional is political science.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think about this optional? How it reinforces your general studies preparation? Are both reinforced each other? So what was the role of this optional during in your journey, basically?
Sir, firstly, I would say I have secured rank 5 because of my optional. Because, sir, this time I have scored 314 in my optional. And that was the major reason I could achieve rank 5. Secondly, what I think about this optional, sir, it is absolutely amazing. And it is so aligned with the service that you are going into. Because in political science, the syllabus is so vast, so diverse. You read a lot of scholars, be it Indian scholars or the Western scholars, or you read the modern history, you understand the independence struggle, you read about the functioning of the government, and then you read about the international relations. And particularly in the last few decades, the international arena is getting highly dynamic. So, so I would say this optional is a privilege to have this optional, sir, for me. And secondly, what I would say is that it helped me in my essay, it helped me in my GS2, it helped me in my GS4. So this optional, the spillover of this optional is immense.
So just one more additional question with this. Generally, for second part of political science, that is 2A. People have this notion that with the current affairs, you can easily prepare 2A. Is it correct to say?
Sir, the second part, the IR part.
Yeah.
Sir, the current affair is one aspect of it, but not completely, sir. If I would say 50%, only 50%. Because, sir, this is an academic subject, political science and IR. And what they are looking for is a reader and a scholar of the subject, and not an analyst, not an armchair analyst. So you can use the current affairs to substantiate your answers, to enrich your answers, but current affairs cannot be your answers. In IR particularly, you read a lot of scholars in paper 1 and in paper 2. So it is more important to link those concepts and the current events with those scholars and integrate all the 3. That is more important. And also using the subject of political science. You cannot write like a layman or someone who is writing a GS paper, because the syllabus is usually overlapping with GS2. But I think you should display that smartness that you are a student of political science, and you should write like that.
Yes, just add, one more additional question. Do you think that this paper 2 is having equal importance to paper weight? Sometimes these myths are around, like we should prepare more paper 1 and less paper 2. So what was the role of paper 2 in your journey, basically?
Sir, answering the first part of your question, whether we should prepare more the one part and the second part. Sir, not just for political science, I would say do not take any aspect of UPSC non-seriously, and including CSAT, even though we are talking about paper 2. But sir, UPSC is an examination wherein there is no scope to take things lightly. Don't even take the Hindi and English paper lightly. So because you never know in which paper you are going to get marks and in which you are not going to get marks. So for me, the role of paper 1 was, in my first attempt, it was really damaging, because I had scored 104 in my paper 2, and I missed the cutoff by 23 marks in my first attempt. So somewhat paper 2 had pulled me down. But sir, the mistake was mine. because in the hindsight, when I see it, I only used a lot of scholars. I used the approach of paper 1 and paper 2. I used a lot of scholars in paper 2. But that is not how the nature of paper 2 is. Paper 2 is highly analytical. They want your analysis. They want to see how you understand the world. So in my second attempt, what I did was I used more of the some thinkers that we have in paper 2, like Neil Scheimer or Kenneth Waltz, thinkers like that, who are reputed across the discipline. And I focus more on the analytical part. If there is a question of, say, India and Japan, so what is happening between India and Japan? What are the dimensions in India and Japan? What is Indo-Pacific? How it is related to US, to Korea, to China, and to Quad? So this is how the answers get enriched. So in my second attempt, I scored 137 in my paper 2, and my total score was 218 political science last year. And this year, paper 2, I scored 146, and 314 was the total. So paper 2 has helped a lot in my both the attempts.
That's really very nice. Utkarsh, tell me something, toughest part of your preparation. I mean, like, what you find that it is very difficult and you need to be very cautious while your preparation.
So for me, the toughest part was, I would say, essay, because even in my first attempt, I scored 128, which was okay, pretty much fine. But in my second attempt, I scored 103 in essay, and I missed the cutoff by 11 marks. And this year also, I scored only 111 in essay. And if we look at the topics and the dynamism that the essay paper is displaying, it becomes highly damaging sometimes. Because if you miss the essence of the essay or the core aspect of essay, you are gone. You will land up somewhere around 80s, 90s. So, sir, for me, essay is very tricky, because in GS you will score average or above average, or in optional you will score average or above average. But the amount of damage that essay does is something that no other paper does.
So, and what was your strategy for your GS preparation?
So for my GS preparation, what I did was I made notes topic wise and paper wise, and I collected some data and facts regarding various topics, some committee, commission, Supreme Court judgments, to add value to my answers. And for GS papers and for mains as a whole, so I would say completing the paper is a sine qua non. It is non-negotiable. No, there cannot be any excuse to let the paper go incomplete. And what my approach was to follow how the toppers write. So what I did was I saw Anudeep Durishetty sir's copy. And last year, Sir Divya Mishra ma'am scored 28th rank, and she was one of the toppers in GS. So I noticed how she used to substantiate her points with examples, particularly for the ethics part. And how Sir Anudeep Durishetty sir used to write in, used to give subheadings, used to write in points or incorporated diagrams. So, sir, I incorporated the approach of toppers.
Okay. So, Utkarsh, just one more question related to your journey, basically.
Yes.
So, do you find that during your journey, your mental strength was more important than anything else?
So, this is 100% true. Because, sir, as I mentioned in the earlier as well, that this exam is mentally taxing. And they are testing you so much because the challenge that you will face once you go into the service is of much higher level. So maintaining the mental balance is very important, because you will go through the stress not once but thrice in this examination on the day of prelims. And for mains, you will be under stress for 9 days continuously. And for interview, even it is for only for half an hour, but the amount of stress is tremendous. So it is an exam of testing your mental resilience. And sir, that is why I emphasized on being, on depressurizing your mind, because you can only think through when the water is stagnant. You can only look through clear water. And so I would say that for that, you need to have a good amount of mental support, be it in your family or in your friends. And that was the important aspect, or the third aspect which I talked about, sir.
So, Utkarsh, any personal antidote or learning you would like to share with aspirants?
Sir, if there is one learning, I would say, when we are preparing for this examination, our mind most of the time goes in the negative direction because the selection ratio is so low. And when you look at the toppers, you look at the people who get selected, you think that will I be so lucky, or will I be so capable of clearing this examination with a so and so rank? And when last year, a few of my people whom I know personally secured top 50 rank and I couldn't qualify, I used to think that I don't know if I will ever be able to qualify this examination. But now I'm so grateful that I did not got through for the last two times, and this time I could achieve an all India rank of 5. So, sir, I would say this to future aspirants that this is the wheel of time, and it will turn one day. So, with this belief and hope in yourself, there will be moments of time in which you will be tested. And unless you will not be tested, how will God know that you are capable enough to qualify this examination? You have to be tested. So, take every demotivating time in stride, and just keep faith in yourself and keep faith in God. There is always a better plan than you have ever imagined.
Nice talking to you, Utkarsh, All India Rank 5. And definitely your antidote and your last message is very important for the aspirants, because everyone need to come out to test herself or himself to know that what he or she is capable of. And definitely, if I say, even this is not the end of the life, whether you are in or we are out, you need to put yourself on test and you need to give your best.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
A very warm wishes to you for your success in your upcoming life.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Utkarsh. So much to be here.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.